the running back. Fake to him. Darnold to the end zone.
The 2026 season is almost here, and numerous teams are looking to make a solid case for making it to Super Bowl 61. While all 32 teams made some well-needed adjustments during the offseason, some teams are getting too much hype due to free agent signings, NFL draft decisions, or how their schedules look. Sure, some of these teams on this list will live up to the hype, but other teams, well, they probably won't, especially with just how high fan expectations are for this upcoming season. So today, we're going to explore the 10 teams that fans are way too high on right now. Philadelphia Eagles. Fans of the Eagles have very high expectations heading into the 2026 season, as they're coming off back-to-back NFC East divisional wins. The Eagles got rid of offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo and replaced him with Sean Mannion, who should hopefully fix the offense ahead of 2026. Mannion has received praise from offensive talent like Jordan Mailata. However, he's never been an offensive coordinator before, so this is going to be a big test for him. Fans have expressed their full confidence in Jalen Hurts, who wasn't exactly happy with the offense in 2025. So he should bounce back during the 2026 season. Fans are expecting the Eagles to steamroll through the NFC East, even though the New York Giants have slightly improved during the offseason. And the competition in the rest of the NFC is, well, always competitive. The Eagles also have a very competitive schedule in 2026, as they face the Chicago Bears, Pittsburgh Steelers, Houston Texans, Jacksonville Jaguars, Seattle Seahawks, Los Angeles Rams, and the 49ers, all of which made the playoffs in 2025. Sure, the Eagles have optimism, but they gotta keep the ship together and not let things fall apart at the end of the regular season. And you know, that might be asking a bit much. Chicago Bears. Bears fans are incredibly optimistic about their team heading into the 2026 regular season, as they won the NFC North in 2025 and defeated the Green Bay Packers in the wildcard round, all thanks to Ben Johnson's coaching. The Bears entered the 2026 season riding high, with Caleb Williams continuing to improve under Johnson and offensive coordinator Press Taylor. Not to mention, the Bears proved that they can win close games, which they used to fall flat in before Johnson was hired by the team. Despite the hype, Bears fans have a much tougher 2026 schedule, as they'll square off against the Philadelphia Eagles, Seattle Seahawks, Jacksonville Jaguars, New England Patriots, and Buffalo Bills, all of which made the playoffs in 2025, along with the rest of the NFC North teams. The Bears saw a regression on defense, mainly in the secondary and in the pass rush, as the Bears didn't add a pass rusher during 2026's offseason. So, as talented as the Bears are on offense, they're going to need to give their defense a boost before the 2026 season officially kicks off. Buffalo Bills. Bills fans are hyped about the 2026 season due to the team making some roster upgrades, plus Josh Allen continuing to play at an elite level, and excitement around new head coach Joe Brady. The Bills traded for DJ Moore, giving Allen his first Pro Bowl-like wide receiver to work with since Stephon Diggs was on the team in 2023. The Bills also entered the 2026 season in a new stadium named Highmark Stadium 2. Despite that, Brady has never been a head coach, and this season will really be a test of whether he's up for the challenge or not. The Bills overhauled former head coach Sean McDermott's 4-3 base system, and defensive coordinator Jim Leonard will implement his 3-4 defensive scheme, making guys like Greg Rousseau relearn the system. Despite adding guys like Moore and Bradley Chubb, the Bills lost reliable guard David Edwards in free agency, as he signed a 4-year, $61 million deal with the New Orleans Saints. On top of that, the Bills have a tough schedule, as they're set to square off against the Kansas City Chiefs and Denver Broncos on Thanksgiving and Christmas respectively. Not to mention, they gotta face the entire NFC North, the Baltimore Ravens, the Houston Texans, the LA Chargers, and the LA Rams, who are all tough competitors. There's a lot to be excited about with this Bills team, but fans should be prepared for some bumps in the road when the regular season finally kicks off. As I mean, come on, nothing here is guaranteed. New York Jets. Even though the Jets haven't made the playoffs since 2010, fans of the franchise are excited about the roster with the moves that were made during the offseason. Adding veteran safety Minkah Fitzpatrick was clutch, as he will improve the team's secondary, which failed to secure an interception during 2025. The Jets hired Frank Reich to be the team's new offensive coordinator for 2026, along with head coach Aaron Glenn, who's implementing a new defensive scheme to try to turn things around from the previous season. However, the Jets brought back Geno Smith, who had a rough 2025 season season with Las Vegas. He might play better under Glenn and Reich, but I mean, you really can't expect too much. At best, he's just going to be a temporary band-aid for the quarterback situation there. The fans are expecting a fresh start with the roster reset for 2026, but they currently have a roster of just aging veterans and unproven youth. On top of all that, Aaron Glenn is on the hot seat after the Jets finished the 2025 season with a 3-14 record and in last place in the AFC East. He and the Jets really need to improve on their record when 2026 finally concludes, otherwise, he's gonna be shown the exit. Carolina Panthers. The 2025 Carolina Panthers were a bit of a surprise. They finished 8-9, tied for third with the Atlanta Falcons and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and won the division, earning them a spot in the playoffs. Bryce Young should continue to improve in the 2026 season, as the Panthers drafted Chris Brazzell II, who should play fairly well. The Panthers made some significant upgrades to their defense, signing Jalen Phillips and Devin Lloyd, who will make the pass rush a bit more terrifying for opposing offenses to square up against. Despite said upgrades on defense, the Panthers were an inconsistent team during 2025, and they concluded the year on a 3-game losing streak. The Panthers enter 2026 with a much tougher schedule, having to square off against the Bears, the Packers, the Eagles, the Broncos, the Ravens, and the Steelers, with most of these teams being playoff contenders. While Young improved during the 2025 season, his play remains highly unstable. And if he continues to struggle in 2026, well, I mean, the front office will likely not pick up his 5th-year option. Sure, there's a lot of optimism around the Panthers, but there's also a lot of concern for them heading into 2026, especially with the competition being a little more stiff than last year. Not to mention, competition in the NFC South is also reloaded. Kansas City Chiefs. The 2026 Kansas City Chiefs are likely going to rebound from their injury-riddled 2025 season with a healthier Patrick Mahomes and some offensive adjustments. The Chiefs added fresh defensive talent like Alohi Gilman, Kader Kohu, Kyer Elam, and re-signed L'Jarius Sneed. Not to mention the Chiefs added Super Bowl 60 MVP Kenneth Walker III, who should work nicely with Patrick Mahomes and company during the upcoming regular season. Despite the upgrades, the Chiefs have one of the toughest schedules for 2026, as they have to square off against the Broncos twice, a Sunday night matchup on the road against the Seattle Seahawks, plus matchups against the Buffalo Bills, New England Patriots, and Los Angeles Rams. The Chiefs have aging veterans like Travis Kelce, who are going to be 37 by the end of the season. And, well, he has definitely shown signs of aging. Rashee Rice faces uncertainty as he's recovering from a knee injury and was released from a 30-day jail stint. And despite the signings of new cornerbacks, veterans Jalen Watson and Trent McDuffie are both gone, which is a huge blow to Steve Spagnuolo's defense. With fans knowing the Chiefs, I mean, they'll likely rebound in 2026, but they could just as very easily not meet expectations. We're all just gonna have to wait and see what the Chiefs will do next. Dallas Cowboys. When it comes to teams having incredibly high expectations every year, the Cowboys always make that list. The 2026 Cowboys have some optimism, as they had an impressive weekend during the NFL Draft, selecting guys like Caleb Downs, Malachi Lawrence, Jyshawn Barham, Devin Moore, and LT Overton in order to boost that defense. On offense, the Cowboys are still pretty dang talented, as Dak Prescott played well under Brian Schottenheimer's system, and he'll have an elite wide receiver core with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens in the fold. But despite all that, the Cowboys lost a lot of veteran talent on defense. Guys like Jadeveon Clowney, Dante Fowler, Peyton Turner, Solomon Thomas, and Osa Odigizua, to just name a few. The Cowboys have a tough slate of games during the season as well, as they face the Baltimore Ravens in Brazil, the Houston Texans, the Green Bay Packers, the defending Super Bowl champ Seattle Seahawks, and the Los Angeles Rams all on the road. Not to mention, they have a very late bye week during Week 14. The Cowboys also have some offensive line issues heading into 2026, as Tyler Guyton and Terrence Steele looked problematic during 2025. The Cowboys should show some signs of improvement during the 2026 season, but I mean, it's less likely that they'll return to the playoffs for the first time since the 2023 season. Seattle Seahawks. Fans are riding high on the Seahawks as they're now the defending Super Bowl champions, and they have a majority of their roster intact from the 2025 season. The Seahawks defense is still looking incredibly fierce and ready to cause more havoc against opposing offenses when the regular season officially kicks off. The team had a drama-free offseason, with the front office not having to deal with any major cap casualties, thus keeping their foundation intact. Despite that, the Seahawks lost offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak, who became the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, and they lost run game coordinator Rick Dennison, Robinson to the Raiders as well. Fans are confident that Brian Fleury will be able to continue to make this offense click, though. Kenneth Walker III is gone as he signed a huge 3-year, $45 million deal with the Kansas City Chiefs, and on top of that, the Los Angeles Rams improved their secondary and could really give the Seahawks a run for their money during regular season play, and potentially a rematch during the playoffs. It's going to be interesting to see how the defending Super Bowl champs handle the hype and the competition during this upcoming 2026 regular season. But hey, just a friendly reminder, repeating is very difficult. Very few teams have ever done it. New England Patriots. Patriots fans are incredibly optimistic about the team after their Super Bowl 60 run in 2025 and acquiring A.J. Brown via trade in June of this offseason. Adding Romeo Doubs was good, but Brown on the roster instantly upgrades the Patriots' passing attack and gives Drake May his first Pro Bowl caliber wide receiver to work with. The Patriots' defense remains stout and deep as the team added Mike Brown, Kevin Byard, KJ Britt, and Draymond Jones, who should excel under head coach Mike Vrabel and defensive coordinator Zach Kerr. Despite being defending Super Bowl runner-ups, the Patriots have a tougher schedule in 2026, as they're going to have to square off against the Seahawks in a Super Bowl 60 rematch in Week 1, along with squaring off against the Chicago Bears, Denver Broncos, Kansas City Chiefs, Pittsburgh Steelers, Green Bay Packers, and Jacksonville Jaguars, with most of those teams all making the playoffs last year. The Patriots will also have travel fatigue as they have to travel to Munich, Germany to square off against the Detroit Lions and have 4 primetime games on the road. On top of that, Vrabel was involved with a lot of off-field drama with reporter Deanna Rossini, which is a massive distraction that the team has to deal with. Don't get us wrong, fans should be excited about the Patriots, but you know, they have a lot to deal with this year. Atlanta Falcons. Falcons fans are optimistic about the team heading into the 2026 season with head coach Kevin Stefanski leading the way, giving Michael Penix Jr. an offensive-minded head coach to work with. The Falcons still have some of the best defensive weapons in the league in Drake London, Bijan Robinson, and Kyle Pitts, who just signed a 3-year, $54 million contract. Despite that, the Falcons' quarterback situation is still questionable as Penix Jr. and the newly signed Tua Tagovailoa are both injury-prone, and both of them may not play in all 18 games in 2026. The Falcons retained defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich, but their defense lost talent, like linebacker Caden Ellis, who signed a 3-year, $33 million deal to return to the New Orleans Saints. Second-year linebacker James Pierce Jr. is awaiting a suspension from the NFL following a 2026 arrest in February. The Falcons also have a very tough slate of early games to begin the 2026 season, as they square off against the Steelers, the Packers, the Saints, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, all on the road, while facing the Cincinnati Bengals in Madrid, Spain. Look, as talented as the offense is, the quarterback situation is highly questionable. You know, mostly due to the injury history of both Tagovailoa and Penix Jr. But the NFC South is wide open, but that means anyone should be able to conquer the division, making things a little more competitive for the Falcons in 2026. But hey, what NFL team do you think people are way too high on right now? Do you agree with the choices we've made for our list? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, then clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around at TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea, because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.